All right, YouTube, what is crack-a-lackin'? Your boy LP back with another quick one. Today's video inspired by my most recent video where I went over the upcoming self-defense trial of Ian Cranston in the killing of Barry Washington Jr. That incident being talked about, being compared by some people as a modern day Emmett Till. And after I put out my video, some people in the comments section told me some things about the Emmett Till incident, which I had never heard before. So I went and did some research to try to verify what people were telling me. And in doing so, I ended up learning some other things that I thought were interesting. So I wanted to make a quick video and share this with you, as this incident is still talked about quite a lot today. And if it's new to me, there's a good chance it's going to be new to you as well. Now, I want to keep this one short and simple, so I'm going to stay really just to the facts. I'm not going to speculate. I'm not going to extrapolate. I'm not going to interpret the facts. I will leave that up to you. I'll show you the dots. You can choose to connect them or not connect them however you want. Having said that, I do want to give one major disclaimer up front, just to be clear here. No, I don't want people getting the wrong idea. I'm in no way trying to justify the murder of Emmett Till, trying to claim that he deserved it or that it wasn't a travesty of justice, that the people who killed him were never brought to justice. All of those things are true, and I would never dream of arguing otherwise. It's just that there's a lot of misconceptions about what actually went down, some based on common lies or myths, we might even say at this point, that are often repeated, and I think others based on assumptions from people who just never bothered to look into it and maybe having preconceived notions about how things were at that time. So, I just thought this stuff was interesting, like I said, so I'm going to share it with you. You make of it as you will, but, try not to get too offended if you don't like the things you hear. With that being said, let's jump right into it. That's right, Louis Till, Emmett Till's father, was an American soldier serving in the Italian campaign in 1945. But he was arrested by the U.S. Army on suspicion of having murdered an Italian woman and having raped two others. Louis Till was given a trial and found guilty of the crimes, after which he was executed by hanging. Some people, when presented with this information, like to speculate that Louis Till may have been falsely accused and innocent of any wrongdoing due to racism against African Americans at the time. And while that certainly may be true, I wasn't there, so I don't know what happened. I can tell you that the reason Louis Till was in the army is because his black wife had accused him of domestic violence, which he was also found guilty of after having choked her out, and a restraining order was made against Louis. After violating the restraining order multiple times, a judge gave Louis the choice: you can either join the army or go to jail. Fun fact, during the court-martial while Louis Till was awaiting trial, he was imprisoned with noted poet and fascist collaborator Ezra Pound. Till is even mentioned in a poem by Pound, the Paisan Cantos, which reads, "Till was hung yesterday for murder and rape with trimmings." So, that's kind of cool. The Lynch Mob responsible for kidnapping and murdering Emmett Till contained 7 men. 4 of them were white, and 3 of those men were black. At least that's according to the testimony from one of the prosecution's star witnesses. Willie Reed, who is also black, was 18 years old at the time and testified that he was walking down a dirt road near Drew, Mississippi when he saw a green and white Chevrolet pickup drive past him with 4 white men in the front and 3 African American men and an African American youth seated beside them in the cab. Reed saw the truck pull into a plantation and park in front of a barn. As he walked closer, he heard a boy inside the barn yelling, "Mama, save me." He also heard the sounds of blows landing on a body and voices cursing and yelling, "Get down, you black bastard." Reed ran to the nearby house of Amanda Bradley and told her what he had seen and heard. It seems sort of counterintuitive that a racist lynch mob would include black men, but this is the version of events that is largely accepted, including by the FBI. However, as far as I can tell through my research, none of these other men have ever been identified or come forward to speak on the case. You would think, given the amount of interest and the opportunity for lucrative book deals and interviews, etc., one of these black men would have come forward to give their side of the story and speak to what actually happened in the barn that day. Yet it doesn't appear that that has happened. And given how long it's been, it's probably safe to assume those men are no longer with us. So we may never have answers on who they were or why they were there. If you're already familiar with the story of Emmett Till, you'll know that the catalyst for the murder was an incident that took place at a grocery store owned by Carolyn Bryant and her husband Roy. What you may not know, however, is that that grocery store mostly served black patrons, which Carolyn Bryant testified to during the trial, also stating that she knew most of the local black people in that area, but that Emmett Till wasn't familiar to her, which makes sense as he was visiting down from Chicago. If Carolyn Bryant really did fabricate her allegations out of whole cloth, as some people claim, it would be fairly bizarre behavior given that she was interacting with black people on a daily basis. In Carolyn Bryant's sworn testimony during the trial of Emmett Till, she said Till came into the store to buy some gum. When she held out her hand to take the money, he grabbed her by the wrist and held it tightly, saying, "How about a date, baby?" Carolyn jerked her hand away and went to leave towards the back of the store, but Till trapped her, in her words, putting his arms around her waist and saying, "What's the matter, baby? Can't you take it?" And then he said, "Don't worry, I've been with white women before." It's at this point, Carolyn says, that one of Till's friends came into the store and told him that they needed to leave. They left and Carolyn went to her car outside to get her gun, at which point Till whistled at her. One of the biggest and most widespread misconceptions about this event is that Carolyn later recanted her testimony, claiming that she made it all up. This is because of a 2017 book published by author Timothy Tyson, who interviewed Carolyn Bryant and then claimed that's what she said to him. Now, this revelation was so explosive that the FBI reopened their investigation into the Till murder. But when they went to interview Carolyn Bryant, she denied that she had ever made this claim to Tyson. Tyson had recorded his interviews with Bryant on tape, but that part wasn't on tape. Another author by the name of Jerry Mitchell even claimed that he talked to Tyson after the interview but before the book was published and asked if Carolyn had changed anything about her story, to which Tyson had said she hadn't. It appears, based on the evidence, that Timothy Tyson fabricated his explosive claim in order to sell books. However, it should be noted that many people do believe Carolyn Bryant did perjure herself on the stand, and the reason for this is because a week before the trial, she had done an interview with her husband's lawyer where she had told what had happened, and the part about Emmett grabbing her by the waist was not included in the lawyer's notes. So many people believe she fabricated that part after the fact in order to help with her husband's legal defense. It's been almost 75 years since the murder of Emmett Till, and people are talking about this story more than ever. In fact, in 2018, Steve Saylor decided to plot interest in the Emmett Till story by checking how many times that had been used in the New York Times. And as you can see on the chart, with the black line being Emmett Till, coverage of that in the New York Times has been trending up steadily since the 70s. surpassing even coverage of white privilege. Doing a Google News search for Emmett Till shows multiple stories published in the last 24 hours at the time of this recording, and doing a Twitter search for Emmett Till shows that his name is mentioned on Twitter roughly every 3 to 5 minutes. Not a bad amount of interest for a murder that happened in 1955. But don't worry, we'll keep you updated on any further developments in this breaking story.
Let's have a chew. Now when I count 3. That boy needs therapy.
No.
What?
I don't care about Emmett Till.